Bharatanatyam is a South Indian dance form that has been danced for centuries. It has rhythmic movement. It has the storytelling aspect where we use our hand gestures and facial expressions to tell stories. What's been really critical is understanding the stories as I know them, as how I grew up with them, like the stories of my mom, the stories of my parents, and then really finding a way to manifest them into movement that isn't just a description of what happened to them, but really like captures the emotional narrative of what they went through.
The movements are very like naked, in the sense it's as is, it's raw, it's not a replica of something, but it stands true to the narrative. This narrative is the only true story that this person has, right? So it's unique in its own way, so I feel the movements are unique in its own way, and it just kind of comes together very beautifully.
Something that I encourage the dancers to do, we write a lot, we ask questions, and then sort of go through our own improvisational tasks to create movement, and that movement really becomes a part of the work. Similarly with music, I mean, the musicians, Rupa Mahadevan and Kalaiselvan, they're incredible musicians and directors and composers themselves, but also they both dance. They understand the storytelling aspect. In tandem, we're talking about our own personal histories and how they relate to the work. Those are the seeds for the work to grow together. Seeing dance and music really come out of thin air, come out of the worlds that we are revisiting or visibilizing. I mean, it really is magical for me. And I'm surprised by it every time, but I'm also like, this is why we do it. Hi, my name is Nadi Thekek. I'm a dancer, choreographer, and the artistic director of Nava Dance Theater based here in San Francisco. The show that we've been working on is called Rogue Gestures, Foreign Bodies. And it's really a story that's been inspired by a lot of our aunties, the women that came to the US in the 70s and 80s, right after the Immigration and Nationality Act passed. The narrative that we see in the South Asian diaspora now is really dominated by the stories of men and the stories of tech, and it's really not who I am. What I wanted this work to be is a way to visualize the nuances of our South Asian history in the US. We kind of talk about the aunties of the past generation as being these superheroes, and we take it for granted and we don't really know their stories, like from their perspective. These are stories that the next generation can learn from as well. So this work has really motivated me to go in and ask the questions and collect oral histories from family members and from people that I know who came at that time. These women came to work. They came expected to sort of create a foundation for their families to come over from India, whether it was through paid work as nurses or whether it's unpaid work sort of in the home. They were expected to really set up these lives for their families. They're talking about being alone in a new place, like newfound freedom that they didn't have in India, and also talking about leaving children behind so they can set up a good foundation for their family to come over. That's a story from today. I mean, parents, men and women, have to leave family behind in many different cultures. Recognizing the commonality between all our stories is also really critical in this time. The more we can sort of understand where each of us are coming from, I think that's hopefully going to get us through this time, and make us stronger.